Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Killer Content Showcase series. It's Demand Gen Report's spotlight on some of the most killer content and campaigns in the B2B marketplace. My name is Brian Anderson. I'm the news editor at Demand Gen Report, and with me today is Brad Butler, who is the Director of Marketing, and Justin Keller, who is the VP of Marketing at the email signature marketing company Sigstr. Guys, pleasure to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's great to have you folks here, especially since this past February at the B2B Marketing Exchange. Brad, Justin, and your team, you folks won our first ever B2B Choice Award for an amazing customer lifecycle marketing campaign that you folks had. It had, I believe it was roughly 50 of your clients highlighting a lot of their banner designs in this Vogue-esque style, a digital magazine, and it was some really beautiful stuff, and it created a lot of buzz within the community, and the award was definitely rightly deserved. So I guess to start the conversation off with you guys, it'd be great to kind of walk through the ideation process of the campaign. What did those conversations internally amongst your marketing team, your sales team, and the folks involved in taking these types of campaigns to market, what did those conversations sound like? And who is the intended users for the content internally, that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first off, as a side note, what a great week that was at B2BMX. So thank you for the opportunity, and we were pleasantly surprised to win that award, and man, what a great recognition. So really pumped to be on the show here. And if we start talking through, the beginning stages of this resource, we came into this knowing that our audience responded really well to content that was, full of tactics and inspiration and sort of a show me how it's done. So with that in mind, we also had a couple other beliefs that we always want to celebrate our customers. That's sort of a culture thing, as a company, and it shines through in our content strategy. And we also tried to strive to be a little bit different and go a little bit out of our way. So really, when thinking about this piece, both of those ideas kind of came together naturally to form the September issue. If you think about, spotlighting our customers, and we kept going back to that saying of we need to put a spotlight on our customers, naturally we thought of, well, Vogue and their annual publication of all things fashion and the runway. Man, wouldn't that be ridiculous to bring that to email signature marketing? And so we answered that question ourselves saying, yes, that would be crazy. So let's go ahead and do it. So that's what we did. You'll find it in the piece, designers' takeaways and funny comments on the campaigns themselves. But really, this resource was intended to celebrate the creativity of our customers, with internal users on the Sigstr side being all the way from sales and marketing and the leadership team all the way to the customer success team.
So this definitely wasn't just Justin kicking the door down and saying, Brad, I want to get this done.
A little bit of that, too.
A little bit. It was funny. It was like a year in the making. I think we had the idea around the previous year's September, like, wouldn't it be great to do a lookbook kind of modeled after this? And a year later, it's like, holy crap, guys, like, it's almost November. Or October. We got to get this done. And so we did kind of force it through at the end there, but it's one of those things like it was not an insignificant investment in our time. So it's kind of like a tattoo, like, hey, do we still think this is a good idea? Like, 7 months in, and we did. So we went ahead and got it inked.
Yeah, it isn't a B2B marketing campaign if it isn't running down to the wire.
Exactly.
So.
Right. That's how we operate.
So when it comes to the aspect of focusing on your customers, it's customer centricity is a major talking point in the B2B marketplace nowadays. Is incorporating your customers into the content and the campaigns that you're executing and producing, is that an ongoing theme and trend at Sigstr? What does that process look like when it comes to incorporating your customers and making sure that you're making them the star of the show versus the product and platform that you folks offer?
Yeah, of course. I mean, beyond just Sigstr customers, there are so many marketers today doing wildly creative things with the channel of employee email. So we saw that as an opportunity to do something really creative ourselves to bring that bring that forth and put that front and center of this resource. So, with our past resources, we have highlighted customers, we've shown examples, but with those content pieces, the main focus was on the data or the analytics or the trend. So we were really intentional about, no questions asked. Let's make the main focus on our customers and on these customer campaigns. So the process started with, as a marketing team, we handpicked hundreds of our favorite customer campaigns. It was really hard to do. We then narrowed that down to our top 50 of our favorite email signature banners. And from there, we organized it by use case and then just started reaching out to customers, letting them know that they were selected and they were really, the main spotlight or really the main character of this piece.
Yeah. I would add only that we were really trying to focus, I think I heard this the other day, and I love it. A company's best email marketers are not their email marketing managers. It's, people are building those emails to drive conversions, but the people that are really driving engagement are the one-to-one emails. And being able to focus and celebrate the things that people are doing really well there is a big focus. And Brad is completely customer obsessed and just loves digging into everything they're doing and celebrating that.
Yeah, it definitely drove a lot of great results for you and your team over there, Brad. When it comes to the results that you've seen with this type of campaign, I'm assuming that, like any B2B marketer that's out there, they've ran into instances where they had campaigns and content fueled with hypothetical use cases like, a multinational SaaS organization did this once, and this is the success that they've seen. Instead of doing that, you folks are putting your actual customers front and center. Overall, when it comes to the success, and how have you seen that impact results with this campaign compared to others?
Yeah, I think it's really important. And obviously the first step there was getting their buy-in and letting them know you've been selected. We'd love to feature your brand. Here's what you can expect. So after laying that foundation, really the suspense started building with our customers before the resource was even published. So that was cool to see. If anything, a results driven, it led to more customer interactions, which I think is super important.
Yeah.
It was an excuse to reach out to the customers, start that dialogue, and also reach back out and say, the resource is published. Here you go. You're on page 9. It looks great.
Yeah.
Featuring actual customer brands, it allows their audience to relate to that. Maybe they have competitors where they recognize that brand. I think it's super important to focus on real people and real brands and showing all the creative things that they can do. It gave them a reason to be more invested in Sigstr, also worth noting. Being a part of something, being recognized, they kind of felt like they were part of this committee of elite email signature marketers that are doing some really cool things. And then once it came down, the day where we published the thing, we saw sort of this organic viral effect to where, if I'm a customer being featured in this cool resource, I'm going to share it with my networks. I'm going to share it with all my customers and family and friends. So without pushing much, ourselves, we saw kind of this viral effect the day of and a few days after. And man, in a matter of just a few days, it quickly became our most viewed resource.
Yeah. I remember when we were originally reaching out to the customers, I think a lot of B2B marketers have trouble getting customer buy-in, permission to run something. And I remember having a conversation about being like, let's not ask permission. Let's be like, you've been chosen, and put them on a pedestal and make them feel really great. So that made getting 50 customers buy-in pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely. And you're seeing that trend happen a lot in the space now, where you're seeing customers be included not just in in customer testimonials and that sort of thing, but more importantly, you're just starting to see them spotlighted more throughout the entire stage of the buyer journey and the continuation of that own customer's journey as well. And you guys have really executed well on that. I'm curious to learn a little bit more about that, actually, when it comes to how this content is being leveraged throughout Sigstr's entire funnel. Like, for example, in early stage, demand gen sort of aspects, how is the messaging and the go-to-market strategy with this type of content different to what you're necessarily doing with, customer retention, onboarding, or even, cross-sell, upsell, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'll take a crack at it. And if I miss anything, let me know. The best part about this resource is it's for literally every stage of the sales funnel. Whether you're a new lead all the way to a happy customer renewing, you can use it in all situations. It's how we present it is different. So if you're a new lead coming into the top of our funnel, we're presenting it in a way that we're saying, look at all of the creative things you can do with this channel. Look at all the marketers already doing this today. Are there any brands here that you recognize? Take a look at all the different use cases. If you're a current customer, maybe we'll get a little more specific saying, hey, customer, we saw that you used Sigstr to promote that webinar last month. That was great. Here on page 11, you can see a few more ideas for the webinar use case. Oh, by the way, we know you have a conference coming up. Check out page 13 and see how a few other customers are using Sigstr for that same use case. So that's been really cool to see. It also, there's use case for internal, for our own Sigstr employees, especially new employees. The best way to get ramped up with our product and in our company is just learning about customer stories. So that's a resource we share with them on day one is, here are our top customers. Here's how they're using the product today. Look through this and you'll have a good foundation for what Sigstr is all about.
Yeah, nailed it. I'd say the only other thing is it kind of set the bar. When we're, Sigstr at the end of the day is just a channel, and it, works as well as what you do with it. And once our customers got to see all the amazing things other customers were doing with it, they're like, wow, we need to step our game up. Like, look at all the cool stuff these companies are doing. Maybe Sigstr can help us. We even got a little, consultative opportunities with some of our existing customers to help them improve their game as a result of it.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like, and you're seeing that a lot more in the B2B marketplace when it comes to just when you hit it out of the park with a content asset, you just instantly feel it because it's starting to have resonance throughout the entire journey, not just for the customer, but also for the brand as well. Just like what Brad mentioned when it comes to, onboarding new employees and being able to instantly use that type of content to help them better understand what the brand is, and the brand is the customers, and that's what you had there. So
it's
really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So when it comes to other lessons learned from this campaign and from this content, what are the things that we didn't really touch on that you learned from this? Is there any kind of hiccups that went on during this campaign that you learned a lot from, or anything like that?
This resource taught us a lot. I'm not sure, about hiccups. We learned how to be really prepared, and there are different stages of this, right? I mean, you need to select what customers you want to feature. You need to reach out to those customers. You need to keep them informed. If they really appreciate, when it's going to be published, send them a copy that directly to the customer being featured. So there are a lot of tactical things that you have to check off the box that ultimately prepared us for other future resources. One thing that we learned from this that we applied to other forms of content is don't be afraid to be different, even if it's a little bit funny or a little bit ridiculous. That's a fearful moment for some marketers. Like, is this going to resonate? Are we going to fall flat on our face? So, but by taking that leap of faith, it gave us confidence to do other things like our ridiculous blog series, if Harry Potter characters had email signatures, for example. It gave us confidence to go out and do that. And I think our customers and our audience appreciate that approach to being authentic and not being afraid to be a little silly with our content.
Yeah. I think it comes back to packaging. Like, our designer, Anna, did such an amazing job designing it, laying it out, making it look so beautiful that you can get away with it. And we kind of have taken that a step further in a lot of the content we're doing. Like, we have no problem being a little goofy or silly or irreverent, but we execute on it with such enthusiasm and such polish that it turns into a really valuable asset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what you guys mean by silly, because when I think Vogue, the first thing I think about is email signatures. So not too sure.
We did get
working.
We went in the back alley and we got like these kind of very dramatic, urban-looking headshots of ourselves, like having very tongue-in-cheek commentary on things. So we kind of like we poked fun at ourselves about the whole thing. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's like a really beautiful lookbook.
Yeah.
Yep. It's genuine and authentic, and it was some really great content. I appreciate you folks taking the time to share that with us. Unfortunately, we're out of time here, so Brad and Justin, appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you to everyone for attending the conversation. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to Demand Gen Report to keep up to date with all things B2B, as well as stay in the loop for the other killer content and campaigns that we'll be highlighting throughout this series. So till then, thank you again for your time. Have a great rest of the day.